More than 6 decades have passed since Leave It to Beaver first aired, becoming one of the most iconic sitcoms in American television history. The show not only captured the heart of 1950s family life, but also introduced a cast of child actors and supporting stars who became household names. But what happened after the camera stopped rolling? Some continued to shine in Hollywood, others chose a quieter life away from fame, and a few have sadly passed on. In this series, we'll revisit the actors of Leave It to Beaver, exploring their journeys, transformations, and lasting legacy from then to now. Barbara Billingsley portrayed June Cleaver in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, where she became the archetypal television mother of the post-war era. Born on December 22, 1915 in Los Angeles, she began her career as a fashion model before transitioning into acting in the 1940s. On screen as June, she embodied poise, patience, and timeless grace, serving as the calm center of the Cleaver household. Always perfectly dressed even while doing housework, June was more than a symbol of domesticity. Billingsley gave her warmth and depth, allowing audiences to see a mother who listened, guided, and understood her children. After the series ended, Barbara continued acting, most famously in Airplane, 1980, where her unexpected comedic role as the Jive Lady delighted audiences and proved her versatility. Later, she reprised June in reunion shows, connecting generations to her iconic role. Barbara Billingsley passed away on October 16, 2010, at the age of 94 from polymyalgia, leaving behind a 6-decade career and an enduring image of the idealized American mother. Hugh Beaumont gave life to Ward Cleaver, the calm and wise patriarch of the Cleaver family in Leave It to Beaver, 1957. Born on February 16, 1909 in Lawrence, Kansas, Beaumont pursued theology before turning to acting, later being ordained as a Methodist minister. His diverse background gave him a quiet authority that perfectly suited Ward, who was firm yet loving, always guiding his sons with fairness and thoughtful lessons. Unlike many on-screen fathers of the time, Ward was never harsh. Instead, he embodied patience and integrity, modeling a vision of fatherhood that influenced American culture for decades. Off-screen, Beaumont also worked as a writer and director, while maintaining a quieter family life away from Hollywood's spotlight. He occasionally balanced ministry work with his acting career, reflecting his deep spiritual grounding. On May 14, 1982, while visiting his son in Munich, Germany, Beaumont tragically suffered a fatal heart attack at the age of 73. His death marked the end of a life that bridged faith and art, but his portrayal of Ward Cleaver continues to resonate as one of television's most enduring depictions of fatherhood. Jerry Mathers became an American icon when he starred as Theodore Beaver Cleaver in Leave It to Beaver, 1957. Born on June 2, 1948 in Sioux City, Iowa, he began acting as a child, appearing in commercials and films before landing the role that would define his career. As Beaver, he perfectly captured the innocence, curiosity, and mischief of boyhood, making mistakes but always learning from his family's gentle guidance. The show resonated deeply because of its authentic depiction of childhood, and Mathers' performance made him one of the most recognizable child actors of his era. After the series ended in 1963, Jerry faced the challenge of moving beyond his iconic role, serving briefly in the Air National Guard before continuing in entertainment. He later reprised Beaver in reunion projects, showing the character's growth into adulthood. Off-screen, Mathers became an advocate for diabetes awareness after his own diagnosis, speaking nationwide to promote healthy living. Today, in 2025, Jerry Mathers is 77 years old, and he remains a cherished cultural figure, living proof of television's lasting power to shape memory and nostalgia. Tony Dow portrayed Wally Cleaver, the older brother in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, beginning the role at just 12 years old. Born on April 13, 1945, Dow stepped into acting with little experience but quickly became a household name. On screen, Wally was the idealized older sibling, athletic, respectful, and often guiding his younger brother Beaver through the challenges of childhood. His wholesome image reflected the American teenager of the 1950s, balancing school, sports, and friendships. Off-screen, Dow evolved beyond his role, later working as a director and producer and gaining acclaim as a sculptor with his bronze pieces exhibited internationally. Though he occasionally reprised Wall-E in reunion specials, his life became defined by both artistry and resilience. Tony Dow passed away on July 27, 2022 at the age of 77 from cancer. His death marked the loss of a beloved child star who grew into a true artist. Ken Osmond made his mark as Eddie Haskell in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, taking on the role at 14 years old. Born on June 7, 1943, Osmond became synonymous with the sly, two-faced teenager who charmed adults with politeness while secretly scheming among his peers. His character provided comic relief and a clever foil to Beaver and Wall-E, making Eddie one of the most memorable supporting roles in television history. While beloved by fans, Osmond struggled with typecasting, finding it difficult to escape Eddie's shadow. Seeking a new path, he joined the Los Angeles Police Department, serving with distinction and surviving multiple life-threatening encounters. He occasionally reprised Eddie in reunion projects, reminding audiences of his comedic talent. Ken Osmond passed away on May 18, 2020, at the age of 76 from complications of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and peripheral artery disease, leaving behind a legacy as television's ultimate lovable troublemaker. Stanley Fafara portrayed Hubert Whitey Whitney in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, joining the show at just 7 years old. Born on September 20, 1950, he became one of Beaver's closest schoolyard friends, remembered for his blonde hair and mischievous grin. Whitey often instigated trouble by daring Beaver into reckless adventures, sometimes leading to humorous but awkward consequences. While not a main character, he added realism to the series, embodying the daring, playful kids who influenced Beaver's choices. After the show ended, Stanley struggled to transition out of child stardom and eventually drifted away from Hollywood. His later life was marked by personal challenges, including substance abuse, which made his post-television years difficult. Tragically, he passed away on his birthday, September 20, 2003, at the age of 53, from complications of alcoholism. Though his adult life was troubled, fans remember Fafara fondly as Whitey, the daring friend who pushed Beaver toward many of his funniest misadventures. Robert Rusty Stevens played Larry Mondello, Beaver's mischievous best friend in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, joining the cast when he was 9 years old. Born on November 25, 1948, Stevens appeared in more than 60 episodes, portraying the chubby, food-loving buddy who often lured Beaver into questionable adventures, only to disappear when trouble came. His character brought warmth and humor, capturing the innocence of childhood friendships. Stevens' natural charm made Larry unforgettable, even though his time on the show was cut short when his family relocated in 1960. After leaving Hollywood, Rusty largely lived outside the public eye, working an ordinary life away from acting. He later reprised Larry briefly in the 1980s reunion series, Still the Beaver, delighting fans who remembered him fondly. As of 2025, Robert Rusty Stevens is 76 years old, remembered as the lovable friend whose antics shaped many of Beaver's most memorable adventures. Richard Carell appeared in the final years of Leave It to Beaver, 1960, taking on the role of Richard Rickover at just 12 years old. Born on May 14, 1948, his character was another of Beaver's school friends, often seen sharing in his everyday adventures and childhood struggles. Though not as prominently featured as Larry or Gilbert, Richard added a sense of normalcy and camaraderie, reflecting the familiar bonds of neighborhood friendships. Carell's career, however, flourished far beyond his early acting days. As an adult, he became a prolific television director, writer, and producer, known especially for his extensive work on family sitcoms like Family Matters, Hannah Montana, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. His behind-the-camera contributions helped shape decades of television enjoyed by younger generations. As of 2025, Richard Carell is 77 years old, remembered by classic TV fans as Beaver's buddy, but celebrated in Hollywood for his remarkable career in shaping family entertainment. Stephen Talbot joined Leave It to Beaver in 1959 at 10 years old, playing Gilbert Bates, another of Beaver's closest companions. Born on February 28, 1949, Talbot's Gilbert was known for his quirky personality and occasional scheming, often dragging Beaver into situations that tested friendship and loyalty. His character added a slightly more intellectual and sly presence among Beaver's friends, balancing Whitey's boldness and Larry's goofiness. While Talbot made a lasting impression on television, he chose a very different path as he grew older. Unlike many child actors who remained tied to their roles, he left acting behind to pursue a career in journalism. Talbot became a respected documentary filmmaker and investigative reporter, producing award-winning work for PBS and tackling serious social and political issues. His shift from child star to journalist showcased a remarkable reinvention. As of 2025, Stephen Talbot is 76 years old, admired both for his nostalgic role as Gilbert and his impactful contributions to public broadcasting. Sue Randall portrayed Miss Alice Landers, Beaver's gentle and beloved schoolteacher, starting in Leave It to Beaver in 1958 at 23 years old. Born on October 8, 1935 in Philadelphia, she quickly became a fan favorite for her warmth, patience, and understanding nature. Miss Landers represented the ideal teacher, calm, supportive, and always ready to guide children through their small struggles with kindness. To Beaver and his friends, she was more than an authority figure. She was a trusted mentor who inspired admiration and respect. Randall's natural charm and intelligence made her stand out, and she went on to appear in numerous television dramas of the late 1950s and early the 1960s, including Perry Mason, 77 Sunset Strip, and the iconic Twilight Zone. Despite her talent, her career was relatively brief as she stepped away from Hollywood in the mid-1960s. Sadly, her life was cut short when she was diagnosed with lung cancer, passing away on October 26, 1984, at just 49 years old. Though her time on screen was short, Sue Randall's Miss Landers remains one of television's most touching portrayals of a teacher's positive influence. Jerry Weil played Judy Hensler, one of Beaver's earliest classmates and frequent rivals, beginning her role in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, at just 9 years old. Born on May 15, 1948 in Los Angeles, she captured audiences with her sharp, confident portrayal of the teacher's pet who constantly tattled on Beaver. Judy embodied the archetypal class know-it-all, bossy, smug, and quick to remind Beaver of his mistakes, often resulting in humorous classroom conflicts. Though sometimes irritating, her presence gave depth to Beaver's school life, making her both a comedic foil and a realistic reflection of childhood rivalry. Weil appeared in nearly 30 episodes before leaving the show in its third season. Afterwards, she made brief appearances in other TV series before stepping away from Hollywood entirely. Later in life, she reflected positively on her child acting days, occasionally engaging with fans who fondly remembered her. As of 2025, Jerry Weil is 77 years old, remembered warmly as Judy Hensler, the girl who kept Beaver on his toes and gave audiences one of the show's most recognizable schoolroom personalities. Richard Deacon played Fred Rutherford, Ward Cleaver's co-worker and friend, joining Leave It to Beaver in 1957 at 35 years old. Born on May 14, 1922 in Philadelphia, Deacon brought humor and wit to the role of the pompous yet endearing father of Clarence "Lumpy" Rutherford. Always eager to boast about his son's accomplishments, Fred provided comic relief while highlighting the subtle differences in parenting styles between him and Ward. Deacon's precise timing and ability to play exasperated, self-important characters made him a fixture in American television comedy. Beyond Leave It to Beaver, he achieved great fame as Mel Cooley on The Dick Van Dyke Show, where his chemistry with Maury Amsterdam and Carl Reiner cemented his status as a master of deadpan humor. He later starred in The Mothers-in-Law and guest starred across dozens of TV classics. Off-screen, Deacon pursued his passion for cooking, even publishing successful cookbooks. Sadly, his life ended too soon when he died from cardiovascular disease on August 8, 1984 at 62 years old. His talent and versatility left an enduring mark on television history, ensuring that his performances continue to entertain new generations of fans. Burt Mustin portrayed Gus the fireman, one of Beaver's most beloved adult friends, in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, joining the cast at an astonishing 73 years old. Born on February 8, 1884, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mustin had already lived a full life before entering Hollywood. Gus was a kind, grandfatherly figure who offered Beaver gentle advice and companionship, becoming a warm and trusted adult presence outside the Cleaver family. Audiences loved Gus for his patience, humor, and storytelling, making him one of the show's most memorable recurring characters. Remarkably, Burt Mustin didn't begin his acting career until he was nearly 70, yet he went on to appear in over 150 film and television roles, including The Andy Griffith Show, All in the Family, and Dragnet. His late-blooming career proved that age was no barrier to success in Hollywood. Mustin passed away on January 28, 1977 at the age of 92, leaving behind a legacy as television's favorite kindly old man, remembered for his warmth and charm. Buddy Joe Hooker appeared in Leave It to Beaver, 1957, at 15 years old, born May 30th, 1942, in Vallejo, California. He portrayed Chester Anderson, a classmate of Beaver's who added to the everyday schoolyard interactions of the series. Though his role was relatively minor, Hooker went on to have one of the most fascinating careers of any of the child actors from the show. Not as an actor, assistant, but as a legendary stuntman and stunt coordinator. Hooker built a reputation as one of Hollywood's best stunt professionals, working across television and blockbuster films for decades. His work spanned daring car chases, action sequences, and innovative stunt design, eventually earning him awards and recognition in the stunt community. He trained generations of stunt performers and helped shape how action was safely filmed in Hollywood. Though fans remember him as Beaver's classmate, his true legacy lies behind the camera. As of 2025, Buddy Joe Hooker is 83 years old, celebrated in Hollywood as both a pioneer and a mentor in the world of stunt performance. Tiger Fafara, the older brother of Stanley Fafara, played Tooey Brown, one of Wally Cleaver's close friends, in Leave It to Beaver, 1957. He joined the cast at 12 years old, having been born on January 3, 1945, in Los Angeles. Tooey was portrayed as an easygoing and loyal friend, often hanging around with Wally and Eddie, contributing to the realistic teenage world outside of the Cleaver home. While not a central character, Tooey added depth to the group dynamics, representing the casual camaraderie of 1950s suburban boys. Tiger's acting career was brief. After Leave It to Beaver, he made a few more television appearances before leaving Hollywood behind. Unlike his younger brother Stanley, whose life took a troubled path, Tiger lived quietly, far from the spotlight. He is also known as the father of Des Fafara, lead vocalist of the metal bands Coal Chamber and Devil Driver, which gave the family name an unexpected legacy in music. As of 2025, Tiger Fafara is 80 years old, remembered warmly for his small but memorable role as one of Wally's steadfast friends. Lori Martin joined Leave It to Beaver in 1959, at just 12 years old, playing Angela Valentine and later Mary Margaret. Born on April 18, 1947 in Los Angeles, she quickly became a recognizable face among Beaver's circle of friends. Angela was portrayed as bright and spirited, sometimes teasing Beaver, but also forming part of his wider group of childhood companions. Martin's career, however, extended far beyond her appearances in Leave It to Beaver. She went on to star in feature films, most notably opposite Charlton Heston in The Comancheros, 1961, and later earned recognition for playing the title role in the television adaptation of National Velvet, 1960 to 1962. Her talent and versatility suggested a long Hollywood career, but in the 1970s, she gradually stepped away from acting. Tragically, Lori Martin passed away on April 4, 2010, at the age of 62, after struggling with depression. Despite her early departure from Hollywood, she is remembered fondly as one of Beaver's friends and as a talented young actress of her era. Madge Blake played Mrs. Margaret Mondello, the mother of Beaver's mischievous friend Larry, beginning in Leave It to Beaver, 1958, when she was 59 years old. Born on May 31, 1899 in Kinsley, Kansas, Blake embodied the often exasperated but loving mother who tried to manage Larry's constant appetite and childish antics. Her warm yet comedic presence added realism to the Cleaver family's circle of friends, portraying the everyday challenges of parenting in suburban America. Beyond Leave It to Beaver, Madge Blake enjoyed a busy career in Hollywood, appearing in classics like Singin' in the Rain, 1952, and in recurring roles on television, most famously as Aunt Harriet Cooper on Batman, 1966 to 1967. Her career was marked by her maternal, caring screen image, which made her instantly recognizable to audiences. Sadly, her life was cut short when she passed away on February 19, 1969 at the age of 69 due to a heart attack. Though gone too soon, she is fondly remembered for her warmth and humor as Larry Mondello's mother. Madge Kennedy played Aunt Martha Bronson, June Cleaver's aunt, beginning in the first season of Leave It to Beaver, 1957, when she was 57 years old. Born on February 14, 1900 in Chicago, Illinois, Kennedy brought a touch of refinement and old-fashioned charm to her role. Aunt Martha was a slightly prim and traditional figure whose attempts to guide Beaver and Wally sometimes clashed with the Cleavers' more modern parenting style. Nevertheless, her presence highlighted the generational contrasts of the era, and she remained a warm, if sometimes comically outdated influence in Beaver's life. Kennedy's career was remarkably diverse. She had been a major star in silent films of the 1910s and 1920s, particularly in light comedies and romantic dramas. She later transitioned into sound films and television, working steadily across genres and proving her adaptability. Her decades-long career made her a unique bridge between Hollywood's earliest era and the golden age of television. Madge Kennedy died on August 25, 1987, at the age of 87 from heart failure. She left behind a rare legacy, from silent film stardom to sitcom matriarch, remembered as one of the few actresses to thrive across nearly every stage of entertainment history. Cindy Carroll appeared in Leave It to Beaver beginning in 1957, at 13 years old, playing various classmates such as Alma Hansen, Helen, and others who filled out Beaver's school world. Born on October 11, 1944 in Los Angeles, Carroll had a modest role in the series but still contributed to its depiction of everyday childhood interactions. Her early work in Leave It to Beaver was the foundation for a broader career in both film and television. She appeared in guest roles on popular series throughout the late 1950s and 1960s, and eventually won the title role in Gidget Goes to Rome, 1963, where she carried on the popular teenage heroine originally made famous by Sandra Dee. Although her acting career slowed after the mid-1960s, Carroll's youthful energy and charm made her memorable to audiences who grew up with her performances. As of 2025, Cindy Carroll is 80 years old, living privately but remembered as part of Beaver's classroom circle, and as a lively screen presence in early 1960s teen cinema. Jess Kirkpatrick appeared in Leave It to Beaver, 1958, as the garbage man, offering a brief but memorable glimpse of working-class life in the Cleavers' quiet suburban neighborhood. Born on October 2, 1897 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he was 61 years old when he filmed the episode. His role may have been minor, but it added an authentic touch to the show's carefully crafted world, reminding viewers that Beaver's universe included not only teachers, classmates, and family, but also everyday people doing important jobs. Kirkpatrick's career stretched far beyond Leave It to Beaver. He was a dependable character actor who worked steadily in Hollywood throughout the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. He appeared in The Lemon Drop Kid, 1951, alongside Bob Hope, and made guest appearances on popular television series such as Dragnet, Lassie, and Perry Mason. His rugged looks and natural presence made him ideal for portraying working men, policemen, and small-town figures. Jess Kirkpatrick passed away on August 9, 1976 at the age of 78, from natural causes. Though not a household name, he remains an important example of the unsung character actors who gave classic television its texture and realism. Diane Brewster portrayed Miss Canfield, Beaver's first teacher, in the debut season of Leave It to Beaver, 1957, when she was 26 years old. Born on March 11, 1931 in Kansas City, Missouri, Brewster brought a graceful, kind, and professional presence to the role. Miss Canfield became a memorable figure for audiences as the first adult outside the Cleaver home to influence Beaver's development, representing the patience, guidance, and authority of a good teacher. Although her tenure on the show was brief, she set the standard for how the series would portray educators. Brewster's career flourished in television during the late 1950s and 1960s. She became known for her role as Samantha Crawford, a clever and mysterious conwoman on Maverick, and appeared in Perry Mason, Wagon Train, and many other classics. She often played intelligent, confident women who balanced glamour with sharp wit, making her a versatile performer. Sadly, her life was cut short when she died on November 12, 1991, at the age of 60 from heart failure. Though gone too soon, Diane Brewster remains fondly remembered for her poise and talent, and as the teacher who first guided young Beaver Cleaver. Wendell Holmes appeared in Leave It to Beaver in 1958 as Mr. Blair, one of Beaver's school principals when he was 44 years old. Born on August 17, 1914 in Cheshire, Ohio, Holmes built a career as a skilled supporting actor across radio, film, and television. On Leave It to Beaver, his portrayal of Mr. Blair embodied the stern but fair administrator, a figure of authority who represented the structure and discipline of school life during the 1950s. Outside of the show, Holmes had an impressive resume. He appeared in Fritz Lang's The Woman in the Window, 1944, and took on dozens of roles in both dramatic and lighter projects, while also being a well-known radio voice. He was respected for his professional demeanor and ability to portray doctors, lawyers, and teachers with conviction. Tragically, Holmes's career and life ended early when he died suddenly on April 27, 1962, at just 47 years old from a heart attack. His untimely passing deprived Hollywood of a reliable and gifted performer, but his work, including his turn on Leave It to Beaver, remains part of classic television history. Who is your favorite character from Leave It to Beaver? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.